Okay, so you can start standing towards the top of the mat, aligning your feet. And then closing your eyes, start to connect to slower, deeper breaths as you stand here. Gently drawing in your stomach muscles, letting your shoulders relax down. Feeling into the sensations of each breath. Moving right ear gently towards your right shoulder to create a stretch in the left side of your neck. Feeling into the weight of your head. Nice deep breaths. And gently bring your chin down towards your chest. Slowly moving over to the other side. Gently stretching into the right side of your neck. Feeling into the weight of your head. Nice deep breaths at the same time. Bringing chin gently back down towards your chest. Taking your head over to the first side. As you do, you can begin to reach your left arm all the way up towards the ceiling. So a sense of lengthening through the left side of your body. You can move your hips slightly out to the left as you do this, and bringing your right hand onto your hip to come a little bit deeper towards your side bends for the last few moments. Maybe relaxing head down gently. And then as you exit, bring your left arm slowly forward in front of you and your chin down towards your chest. So opening up into back of neck and middle back. And you can lift your head up, relax both arms down. And start to bring left ear towards left shoulder for the other side. Right arm lifting out and upwards. Grounding gently through both feet as you lengthen through the right side of your body. Breathing with this. And then bringing your left hand onto your hip to offer yourself a little bit more support, maybe coming slightly deeper towards your side bends. Heavy head. And exiting slowly in the same way by bringing your right arm forwards and down, your chin towards your chest. Rounding into your middle back and your upper back. You can lower both arms gently down by your sides as you lift up your head. Lifting both arms all the way up towards the ceiling. Lifting your shoulders up as you do. Nice stretch upwards. And then you can start to bend your elbows to open your chest. And the sensation of lifting your chest upwards. So very gentle back bend here. At the same time, you can slowly lower your arms all the way down by your sides. With your palms face forwards. Keeping the sense of breadth across your chest and your shoulders. As you exit from this position, you can bring your hands onto your thighs. And then bending both of your knees, gently bending forwards and slowly coming down into your first forward bend. As you touch your hands down to the ground, you can start to relax gently into the weight of your head. Releasing tension from your neck. And as you hang here, you can start to stretch one leg a little bit more than the other. Just passing that stretch gently from leg to open up into your hamstrings here, but also allowing movement in your hips and into your back carefully at the same time. Taking nice, slow, deep breaths here in your forward bends, maybe holding onto either elbow with either hand to get a sense of the weight of your arms, releasing tension from your shoulders. Breathing deeply, adding any other movements that feel nice, potentially moving shoulders, potentially moving your head, feeling the ground beneath both of your feet and a sense of lifting your tailbone upwards, as you reach the crown of your head down. You can put a bigger bend in your knees as you lift your head and chest. Gently press your hands down into your legs to assist yourself. Returning to stand. Just take a moment to center yourself. And then you can bring the palms of your hands onto your bottom. Squeeze your muscles there gently and start to bring your elbows closer towards each other, opening through your chest. And then pressing your hips forwards. So thinking about opening the front of your body here, your hip flexors, and also your chest and the fronts of your shoulders. Each time you inhale, try to lift your chest slightly higher upwards. Each time you exhale, gently squeezing in your stomach as you very carefully start to bend your spine backwards, supported with arms and supported with your core strength, your stomach muscles. Lifting yourself out carefully. As well, you can lift your shoulders and then release them down, letting go of any tension. Reaching both arms out to the sides as you bend your knees to come down into your chair pose. With your belly pulled in, moving your pelvis backwards and down into the space behind you. Looking down to monitor your alignment through the lower part of your body. Gently turning your head to the right side. Seeing how this movement feels in your neck, your range, and then slowly turning your head to the left side. Same deep breaths all the way through. As you bring your head back to center, reach your arms forward in front of your shoulders, turn your palms upwards and pull your shoulders a little bit stronger back behind you, drawing your shoulder blades towards each other, coming slightly deeper into your chair pose with care. Before you return to stand, hands prayer in front of your chest, rising up onto the balls of your feet, strengthening your ankles, calf muscles, reaching upwards into the space above the crown of your head. As you bring your heels down, you can open your arms out to the side again. Returning slowly down into your chair pose, bending both knees, moving your pelvis back. This time lifting your arms upwards, working a little bit more deeply into your shoulders. Belly pulled in. Hands coming to prayer in front of your chest. Start to bring your stomach closer towards your thighs. As you return down into your forward bend, gently lift your tailbone up towards the ceiling, hands coming down gently, and eventually head hanging all the way down to the ground. Holding onto your elbows if it feels nice to do, giving yourself a little bit more time down here in your forward bends, adding any movement that feels nice whilst you're here. Taking your fingertips down, your feet a little bit wider, gently lowering into a squat. You can keep your back upright at first. Before bringing your chin down towards your chest, you can take your hands a little bit further forward if that helps support you as you start to gently bend your body forwards, bowing forwards to open the back of your body. Breathing with the back of your body here. Feeling a little bit of compression into your hips as you work into hip flexion in this position. Maybe a little bit of movement at your head to release tension in your neck or your upper back. Breathing slowly, deeply here in your squat. You can take the weight into your hands to bring your knees down. As you bring your knees down, lift up your body, eventually standing on your knees, reaching arms out to the sides and upwards. Think about turning the palms of your hands behind you, almost as if your elbows are pointing forward as you begin to lengthen the front of your body once again, lifting chest upwards. Even though you're lifting chest and arms upwards, shoulders are gently drawing down away from that space. A little bit pressing your hips forwards at the same time. Slowly take your arms out to the sides, coming down to interlock your fingers behind your back. And then once you've managed to take hold, you've got your grip, you can see how it feels to move your arms further back. And then getting the sense that you're trying to press your chest forwards in front of you. Being mindful of your shoulders in this position, keeping same control of your breath as best you can. Releasing arms from this place and then lifting shoulders, taking on tension and then releasing tension, rocking back to your toes, to lift your knees, to return into your squats, and then from your squat, returning into your forward bend, just blending all those things as best you can together. Head hanging down in your forward bend, and then fingertips on the ground to support yourself as you take a big step back with your right leg. A nice long stride, press your heel to the ground to stretch your calf muscles at first. To follow, bring your knee down to the ground. And then as you press your left foot down, you can lift up your chest. Both hands upon left leg, shoulders relaxed, down. Slightly lifting right knee off the ground, using a little bit more leg strength. Breathing and balancing here. Bring your knee back down to the ground. Reach your fingertips forward to the floor. Right foot slowly steps forwards towards left to return into your forward bend, aligning feet and taking yourself a little bit deeper down into it, gently, carefully to stretch. Moving into the other side, big step back with your left leg. Stretching left calf muscles, bringing knee down to the ground, and then lifting up your head and your chest to establish yourself in your low lunge. Deep breaths. Left knee slightly lifting off the ground. Feeling the strength through both of your legs. And then releasing your knee down, reaching hands forwards, and slowly left foot will step forwards to right to return into your forward bend. Spreading toes, belly towards thighs, crown of head towards the ground, tailbone lifting upwards. Coming into a half lift of chest, palms on shins, reach forward through the very crown of your head. Pull your shoulders back as you do this. Nice length through your spine. From there, taking yourself back down into your forward bend and then stepping back into your downward facing dog gently to stretch in this position. Pedaling out through your legs, passing the stretch from one side of your body to the other side of your body. So basically just adding any little bits of movement that feel nice to help you warm up into your joints and your muscles. So maybe some movement at your head, maybe some movements at your shoulders. Just feeling your way through it as you continue to take slow, deep breaths as best as you can. And just giving yourself a little bit more time until you're ready to settle to a more still point, a more symmetrical point in your down dog. Externally rotating your shoulders as best you can in this position, keeping your tailbone lifted up. Okay, slowly moving from down dog, forwards towards your plank position, by lifting your heels nice and high off the floor. As you do that, you can start to tuck under your tailbone. Slowly moving your weight forwards towards your hands. You can reposition your hands forward or your feet back. Squeezing elbows in, pressing middle back upwards before bringing knees down, taking your weight forwards and down towards the ground in one smooth action as best you can. Then you can roll your shoulders back and slowly lift your head and chest away from the ground. So it might feel nice to keep your head hanging, or you might like to see how it feels lifting your head up gently without overextending your neck. And then you're going to slowly press yourself all the way into an upward facing dog. So you lift your hips quite high off the ground. Adding any little bits of movement. So one hip can come lower to the ground. A little bit of twist through your hips. Might feel nice to move your head or bring your chin down towards your chest. And just being patient for your body to open up. You can always move back to child's pose a little bit sooner than I am if you need to. Eventually you can take yourself all the way down to that place. Lengthening out back, lengthening arms, relaxing head down to the ground. Breathing here deeply in your child's pose. Next time you inhale, you can use that breath to slowly rise up onto all fours, cat stretching by pressing middle back upwards, tucking under your tailbone and bringing your chin towards your chest. And to follow your exhale to move into a back bend, drawing your shoulders back, tilting your pelvis forwards, and taking one more round of the same actions. So nice deep breath in, feeling your breath expand into the back of your rib cage as you press it upwards. And then exhaling slowly, gently to return into your back bend. You might like to soften your elbows a little bit as you do this. From here, returning into your downward facing dog. Reposition your hands or your feet if you need to along the way. Pressing heels towards the mat, not that they necessarily have to touch. Adding any bits of movement that feel nice until you're ready to settle to more of a still point. Squeezing elbows in towards the midline. Breathing slowly, deeply as best you can. And then walking your hands back, one by one towards your feet, like you're trying to press the ground away each time you place your hand down. You can use your fingertips as your hands get closer to your feet. Ending in a forward bend, holding onto your elbows, releasing your shoulders, releasing your neck, grounding through both feet. You can put a bigger bend in your knees as you release your hands down to the ground. Start to roll up gently through the whole length of your spine. Your head will be the very last thing to arrive up. Giving yourself a moment to settle. And then walking slowly forward on your right foot. Following through with your left foot. And then right knee lifts up in front of you, bringing hands to prayer in front of your chest. Right leg stretches out completely straight if you can manage. Balancing here. And then you can send your right leg slowly to the back. Keeping your stomach muscles pulled in. A little bit of a forward tilt in your pelvis as you do this. And then right leg will lift up in front of you again, this time reaching arms up at the same time. Right leg may be coming a little bit higher. And then as you bend your knee, you can lift it even higher in towards you. Slowly step your right foot to the ground behind you, opening arms out to the side as you do. And then left arm reaches up as right arm comes down, bending yourself sideways towards the right. So feeling nice opening through left side of body. Breathing into the left side of your rib cage here. Hanging your head down if you can manage to keep your balance and it feels nice into your neck. You're going to round forward as you exit, lifting both arms to around about shoulder height, bringing your chin down towards your chest, opening up into the back of your body. And lifting your head up as you reach your arms out to the side, bending your left knee. Start to bring yourself about halfway down, maybe not even so far, and then you're going to internally rotate your shoulders with your arms in this position. As you internally rotate your shoulders, bring your chin down towards your chest. And then you can start to externally rotate your shoulders and lifting your head gently back upwards. Grounding through both feet. And you can slowly take your hands all the way down towards the mat. Once your hands touch, you can relax shoulders, you can relax your head gently down towards the ground. And then spending time here to stretch into your left leg. You might be able to move your hips a little bit in this position as you gently transfer your weight backwards or forwards. So just see what feels nice with your legs and body in this position. Same slow, deep breaths. Any other movements that feel nice, maybe in your head or your shoulders. Or maybe lifting toes off the ground feels nice. Spreading toes open as best you can. Okay, looking a little bit further forwards. Reaching fingertips forward on the ground. As you do, lift up your right leg. Pull your shoulders back. Broaden your chest. Press left foot down into the ground. Then you can bring chin to chest, knee to nose. Before bringing your right foot down beside your left. To return into your forward bend. Bringing your chest towards your thighs. Reaching crown of head towards the ground. Tailbone lifts up towards the ceiling. Then put a bigger bend in your knees, start to roll up through your spine, slowly making your way back to stand. Okay, once you're ready to move, hands to prayer for left side, reaching left leg out in front of you. Pulling your toes back towards your face, feeling your left quadricep muscles engaged. Standing up nice and straight. And then sending left leg to the back. Try to have your left leg directly behind your left hip. The sole of your foot facing behind you. Hips square, belly pulled in. And then left leg reaches forward in front of you again, this time with both arms reaching upwards. Elbows are almost pointing forwards. And you can bend your left knee, lift it even higher, in and up towards you. A little bit pressing your hips forward as you do this. And then slowly step left foot to the back. Open your arms out to the sides. Finding your balance. Right arm lifts, left arm lowers as you bend towards the left. Opening up into the right side of your body. Breathing into the right side of your rib cage when you inhale. Feeling that expansion. And then contraction. Heavy head. Stretching right side of neck. Gently rounding forward, both arms lift to around about shoulder height, chin to chest, shoulder blades are spreading out across your back. And then you can open your arms in your chest as you bend your right knee. Coming down just a little bit. And then start to internally rotate your shoulders. As you do that, bring your chin towards your chest. Exploring the range of movement that you have with your arms in this position. And then working the opposite action, external rotation, turning palms up towards the ceiling, as far as you can. And then you can slowly take your hands down to the ground as your body comes lower, releasing into the weight of your head. Feeling nice stretch through your right hamstrings. You can start to play around with a little bit of movement if it feels nice to. Moving your hips and pelvis, twisting, or maybe moving them a little bit side to side in the space. Deep breaths all the way through. You can always bend your right knee more to make this position a little bit more manageable. You can think about squaring off your hips in preparation to slowly take your weight forwards into your right foot and lift your left leg. Shoulder blades draw towards each other, chest opening, right foot pressing down into the ground, and then knee to nose, chin to chest, a sense of curling in. Then left foot down to the ground, finding your forward bend, holding onto elbows if it feels nice to. Breathing here. Nice long spine, nice long back as best you can. And then you can take your time to roll up through your spine, eventually returning to stance. Gently lifting up your head, opening your chest. Reaching both arms up towards the ceiling. Turn the palms of your hands behind you. A little bit tuck under your tailbone. Gently press your hips forward. Feel as if you're being lifted up by your chest, by your sternum, particularly on your in-breath. Chest lifts upwards. Exhale, belly pulls in. Opening into the fronts of your hips, opening into your shoulders as you gently bend your spine backwards. As you exit from your high arch, arms opening out to the sides, coming down, almost travelling through a chair pose to return down into your forward bend. Reaching crown of head down towards the ground. And then half lifting your chest, pressing palms into your shins to help lengthen your back. Or maybe reaching arms out and back behind you instead. And coming down into your forward bend to step back into your downward facing dog. Spread open your fingers as much as you can. Squeezing elbows in, keeping tailbone lifted, moving forwards to plank. Plank to chaturanga. Any modifications you need, potentially bringing your knees down to the ground. From chaturanga to upward facing dog, squeezing your elbows in towards your waist. Spending time in your up dog. Any little bits of movement through your body that feel nice. Feeling the stretch through the fronts of your hips all the way up into your belly. Gently bending spine backwards. Maybe legs engaged, maybe legs relaxed. Using arm strength, core strength to support your spine in this position. And when you're ready to move out, you can take yourself backwards and down into child's pose. Just gently laying head down. As you do, you can bring your arms closer to each other. Maybe just turn the palms of your hands up, or you can touch the palms of your hands together and start to point them upwards. So creating a little bit more intensity in the stretch for your upper arms and your shoulders. Using the depth of your breath to achieve that intensity as well, particularly your in-breath. Maybe chin comes a little bit closer towards your chest. You can release your arms out long if you bent them, rising up onto your knees and fingertips as you press your middle back upwards, rocking weight forward or back. And then as you bring your palms down and move into your back bend, you can also bend your elbows. Slowly take them towards the mat. They may or may not completely touch. Think about squeezing elbows in at the same time as well. And then gently bow your head down towards the ground at the same time. Breathing deeply in this position. Rising back up onto regular hands and knees to return into downward facing dog. Just a few moments before you're ready to settle. Three-legged dog, lifting right leg backwards and upwards. Then rise up onto the ball of your left foot higher before pressing your heel back down towards the mat. And start to bring your knee forwards towards your nose, holding this place. See how far forward you can bring your right foot towards your hands before stepping back to down dog. Same thing, lifting left leg backwards and upwards. Stretching right hamstrings. Rise up nice and high onto the ball of your right foot. Then press your heel back down towards the ground. And then working core strength, upper body strength, as you bring your knees slowly forwards, your chin to your chest. And then left foot moves as far forwards towards your hands as you can. Stepping back to down dog. Releasing from that place. Then lifting both heels at the same time. Bending your knees as you do, look forwards towards your hands as a preparation to jump. Alternatively, you can step or walk. Half lifting chest once you've arrived in your forward bent. And then easing back down towards your stretch. Using your stomach muscles to pull yourself down into it. Rising through chair pose, opening arms out to the side as you lift your head and chest. Chair pose will blend into your high arch, where you first began this sequence. Tucking tailbone, lifting gaze, being mindful with your neck, and lifting chest. Reaching arms slightly further back, lengthening through the whole length of your body, and then slowly lowering your arms back down by your sides, maybe sighing out gently with your out breath, letting go of tension. Picking up your right foot to step it back behind you, turning out to the sides. Both toes point forwards. Bringing yourself down into a wide-legged forward bend. Once your hands touch, relax your head. And then you can spend a little bit of time shifting your hips from one side, gently, slowly to the other side. So you feel a nice stretch in your inner thighs. You can bend one leg and stretch the other one as you do this. Taking it a few times to each side. You can bring yourself back to the center. Walk your hands a little bit further forwards. End up pressing your right palm down into the ground and bringing your left hand onto your left thigh as you start to twist towards the left side. Maybe bringing left palm onto the back of your pelvis if it's not too much for your shoulder. And just feeling your way through this position. Left leg can be a little bit more bent, right leg can be more straight. You can rock your weight forwards or back, more towards your hand or more back towards your feet. Changing the position of your head, just seeing what feels nice to do, to stretch into your upper back. And then gently changing sides, bringing your left palm down as you twist towards the right side. Right hand presses into right leg, encouraging the rotation. And then right palm coming to the back of your pelvis. exploring this position, exploring it by moving your head, exploring it by rocking your weight forwards or backwards, stretching left inner thigh, twisting chest upwards, and then releasing out. Walk your hands back to your feet, bend your knees, lift your head and chest as you rise to return to standing. And you can turn both of your feet out, both of your legs out, coming down into a plie position, gently pressing your knees back in the same direction that your toes are pointed in. Right hand to right leg, left arm lifts upwards, stretching left side of body, left side of neck. Trying to keep your weight pretty much even through both feet as you do this. Rounding forward through the center, chin to chest, arms lift to around about shoulder height. And then opening arms as you lift your heads. And you can bring left hand onto left leg. Gently lift right arm upwards. And stretching through the right side of your body. Curving your spine sideways. Relaxing your head down gently. Opening your hips and strengthening your legs. Rounding forward through the center, chin to chest. Maybe rising up onto the balls of your feet in that place. Ankle strengthening, calf strengthening, then heels down. A bigger bend in your knees. Opening arms, lifting heads. And then completely releasing out from that position. Point your toes forward again. Interlocking your fingers behind your back. Slowly open through your chest. As you keep your chest open, start to bend your body forwards and down. As you bend your body forwards and down, you can start to reach your arms higher, upwards. Keeping the breath though. Exploring the position. Maybe bringing your chin towards your chest feels nice. Maybe moving your head a little bit feels nice. Maybe you want to shift your hips from side to side. Maybe you'd like to change the position of your arms. So just see what feels good to your body. Half lifting your chest, keeping your fingers interlocked. Side bending your neck as you do. Deep breaths. Bringing the backs of your hands onto the back of your body and squeezing your elbows in towards the midline. Nice stretch through your shoulders, coming lower and lower down, maybe elbows on the insides of your legs. Head hanging down. Tailbone lifting up towards the ceiling. And then you can release your hands down to the ground. Turning back to the front, left toes turn out, right toes point forwards, stepping back to down dog, pedal out through your legs, seeing how down dog feels now, how your shoulders feel, how your hamstrings feel. Moving forwards towards your plank, pressing your middle back up towards the ceiling. As you come down into Chaturanga, look a little bit further forward. Squeeze your elbows in beside your waist, knees coming down if need be. Moving towards your upward facing dog. Using upper body strength, core strength to support yourself. Maybe hips come a little bit lower towards the ground this time. Try not to compress your lower back too much if you can help it. You're going to return all the way back into downward facing dog. In one movement or via your hands and knees. Slowly split your right leg backwards and upwards. And then you can bend your right knee. Lift your knee higher up. A sense of opening your hips, Maybe looking underneath your right armpit, reaching your left heel towards the mat. Then you can start to square off your hips. You can keep your right leg bent. This time, knee to nose, to step your right foot forwards towards your hands. Help it through if it doesn't make it. You might need to lengthen your stride. Back knee coming down to the ground gently. Walk your hands towards the left. For a hip stretch, body goes to the left. Roll onto the outside blade of your right foot and let your right knee and hip open. Bringing your body lower down if you need to increase the stretch. Otherwise, you can keep your chest lifted higher up. Maybe a little bit of rocking feels nice in this position. If you're quite tight, you might want to be more still. Breathing here, feeling into both hips, the front of your left hip, your right inner thigh, and your right glutes. Moving out, right toes point forwards. Walk your hands back until they frame your right foot, lifting your chest upwards. Start to take your bum back, your chest forwards, your arms to the sides, closing the space between your stomach and your right leg, stretching right hamstrings. Keeping the balance as best you can. Returning into a low lunge, lifting arms up towards the ceiling, rising from low lunge to high lunge. Lifting gaze, lifting chest, sinking hips down towards the ground. Gentle back bending before bringing your hands to prayer in front of your chest, bringing your body lower down towards the ground. Left palm comes down, toes turn to the right, hips and chest turn to the right, encouraging right hip opening in this variation of side plank. You can bring your right hand onto your hip, or it might feel nice to lift your right arm up towards the ceiling. Keeping left shoulder open, nice technique, pressing left palm down into the ground, encouraging your hips up towards the ceiling. Slowly turning back to the front, hands coming down to the ground, right leg sweeps back into down dog, pedaling out through your legs, easing off any fatigue or tension until you're ready to settle to more of a still point, squeezing elbows in as you lift left leg backwards and upwards for the other side. Bending left knee, lifting left knee upwards to stretch your right inner thigh. Pressing your right heel down towards the ground, looking a little bit underneath your left armpit. And you can keep your left leg bent as you square off your hips. Squaring shoulders as well. And then knee to nose ends in stepping your right foot forward and down to the ground. Lengthen your stride if you need. Back knee comes to the floor. This time walk your hands towards the right sides. As you walk your hands right, let your body follow towards the right. And then being mindful with your left knee, you can roll onto the outside blade of your foot and feeling into your hip stretch on this side. So it's almost like a combination of pigeon stretch and lizards. Nice deep hip opening, bringing your body lower down to the ground if you need to increase the intensity. Either being still or adding any little bits of movement that help you open up into it. Using your arms to support yourself as much as you need wherever you are. Okay, start to bring the sole of your back foot back down to the ground as you walk your hands around, and then gently lifting your body up. Keeping your balance as best you can throughout this transition. Bum goes back, arms reaching out to the sides. Bowing your body forwards towards your left leg, stretching left hamstrings. Keeping the breath steady, body steady. Returning into your low lunge. Arms lift up to the ceiling, tuck your back toes, rising to your high lunge. You can keep your back legs slightly bent to help lengthen your lower back, squaring off your hips. Elbows turning to point forwards as best you can. Lifting gaze, lifting chest, reaching upwards, even though you're trying to sink your hips down towards the ground. And then moving from here to come down into your side plank variation. So bringing right palm down to the floor, a little bit further forward of your left foot. And then you can take the weight into your right hand so there's less in your feet. So it's easier to turn your toes to the left. Encouraging left hip opening, right shoulder opening and strengthening. And then left hand can stay on left leg, or it can come onto your left hip. Or you can reach your left arm up towards the ceiling. Hips gently reaching up, head relaxing down. Keeping the control of the breath. Turning back to the front. And stepping back into your downward facing dog. Walking this off until you're ready to settle. Fingers spread, shoulders wrapped open. Down dog forward towards plank. Super strong through your core. Plank to chaturanga, your press up, the depth of your press up to upward facing dog. Opening shoulders, opening chest, opening fronts of hips. Breathing deeply. Taking yourself all the way back to downward facing dog. Reposition your hands or feet if you need to. A little bit gripping with your fingertips. Feeling the ground beneath your feet and your hands. Shorten your down dog. Split your right leg up. You're keeping your balance here as best you can. You're going to lift up onto your left fingertips. So balancing between your right palm and your left foot. And you can start to incrementally move your left fingertips closer towards your left foot. Try to keep a nice support through your right shoulder. You might be able to make it to reach your fingertips beside your left foot with the palm of your hand facing forwards. And then when you need to, you can release out in preparation for the other side. Anything you need to release, maybe some tension from your right wrist. So you've got a shorter down dog than usual. Left leg lifts up towards the ceiling this time. Bracing through your left shoulder and left palm as you lift up onto your right fingertips. Staying where you need to, or continuing to move your right fingertips closer towards your right foot. Maybe reaching right fingertips alongside right foot with the palm of your hand faced forwards. Deep breaths. Trying to keep your balance as best you can. And then returning into your down dog and walking your feet forwards towards your hands. Holding onto your elbows in your forward bends. Releasing tension from wrists, shoulders, neck. Maybe taking hold of the backs of your legs in some way to pull yourself a little bit more deeply into your forward bend. This very last time that we'll be here. Slightly more weight towards the balls of your feet, lifting tailbone upwards. Squeezing in belly. Breathing deeply. Reaching crown of head down. And you can lower yourself all the way down through a squat to sit back onto your bottom. Bring the soles of your feet together. Coming into a nice gentle stretch for your hips. You can take the flesh of your bum out of the way if it's helpful. You can bring your chin down towards your chest, maybe stopping there. Or if you need to deepen the stretch, just slowly bending further forwards over time. Place your hands wherever you need them to help support your body in this position, whether it's behind you, on your feet, or on the ground in front of you. Breathing with the back of your body. Moving head in any way that feels nice for your neck. Just taking a few more moments here, wherever you are. Okay, then somewhere around about now you can gently start to lift your head, roll yourself all the way back up until you're sitting. And then from here you can lay down onto your back. As you lay down on your back, bring your knees in towards your chest, gently squeezing them in towards your shoulders or your chest. Any movement that feels nice. Maybe you rock from side to side. Just gently pressing the back of your neck towards the ground, the backs of your shoulders and all of your back, feeling the connection with your back and the ground. And you can lower your feet down one by one. Knees point up to the ceiling. Make a cactus position with your arms on the ground to open through your shoulders and your chest. And then you can add on to this, lifting your hips up. Slowly, gently. Sense of opening the front of your body. Using the muscles in your back and your bum and your legs to rise. Maybe a little bit chin down towards your chest. Breathing with your chest here. Okay, slowly bring yourself back down to the ground, releasing tension as you do. Maybe a little bit of movement in your hips or lower back. Gently turning your head to one side. Feeling how heavy your head is. And turning your head over to the other side. You can bring your head back to center. And then point your fingertips down towards your toes so your shoulders internally rotate. Sensing into the weight of your arms. Might feel nice to lift your head up a little bit to stretch the upper part of your spine. Maybe a little bit lower down into the middle part of your spine. Maybe gently pressing your palms down into the ground as you do this. And then releasing all the way back down to the floor. A sense of release. Coming into hip flexion right side, so cuddling right knee in towards your chest. Stretching left leg out long. Try to keep your left hip as relaxed as possible, just using your arms to support it here in the space. And you can see how it feels to take your right knee a little bit further out towards the right. Creating more of a stretch in your right inner thigh, into your right groin. And again, just use your right arm to support the weight of your leg as best you can. Being mindful that your hips stay square, more or less, but at the same time exploring your range of movements. And you can bring your knee back to the center. One last gentle squeeze in. And then releasing right foot down, lifting left leg up for the other side. Stretch right leg out long. Left hip relaxed, using arm strength. So a little bit of pulling with your arms, pulling your leg gently in towards you. Aiming left knee towards left shoulder roughly. Keeping your chest open as best you can. The backs of your shoulders connected down to the ground. And then left knee opens out towards the left. Just seeing how that feels in your hip. Try not to let your hips twist too much as you do this. And bringing left knee back to where it was originally, giving it one last gentle squeeze in towards you. Left foot coming down to the ground. And then stretching left leg out long. Lift your arms up above your head. Do what feels nice to stretch here, arching upper back off the ground. And you can open your arms out to the sides, moving into a twist. Left leg bent, shift your bum to the left, and then roll towards the right side of your body. So you're thinking left knee towards the ground, not that it has to touch. And you're thinking back of left shoulder towards the ground, not that it has to touch, but just using those 2 points to create a nice pull through the left side of your body. Breathing deeply in this twist. Nice stretch through the front of your left shoulder. Moving your head in any direction that feels nice as you lay here. Feeling into the weight of your body. And then you can gently release. Switching legs once you've come back onto your back. Shift your bum to the right, rolling towards the left. And then thinking right knee towards the ground and back of right shoulder towards the ground. Not that they have to touch. Stretching through the front of your right shoulder, the front of your chest on the right side. Nice deep breaths to exaggerate what you're feeling. Moving head in any way that feels nice. You might like to rock a little bit. Breathing with your body here in this twist. A few more moments here before you release out. Hug your knees into your chest. You can lift your head up towards your knees if it feels nice to do. Your final squeeze in, lengthening back. And when you feel you've got enough out of that position, lay down on your back, wherever you're comfortable to completely relax. If there's anything extra you feel like you need to do before you settle, just give yourself that time. And then you can take a very slow, deep breath in, seeing how much air you can take into your lungs. When you're at your absolute maximum, you can hold for a few moments. And whenever you need to release, let that breath fall out as a sigh without control. A sense of letting go. And just simply resting here. No need to control your breath anymore. Just let it be natural. Feeling the rise of your belly with your in-breath and the fall of your belly with your out-breath. And then just remaining here for as long as it feels nice.